she wouldn't have been able to handle it. So he decided to give away the baby to a nurse. And instead of giving the baby away, the nurse decided to keep it and raise it herself. These were the two stories of sacrifice that we based our essential question on, and we thought that it was really inspiring, so we wanted to share it with you.
So we found a mix of different stories throughout history and personal stories that we found, and we all asked the same essential questions. Tell us about your situation, your story. What did you sacrifice? Why did you make that sacrifice? How has that decision affected your life? And what is your message to others in the same situation?
So this is Quinn Cahill. He's a senior here at Arlington, and last year he made the decision to go to Philadelphia where he didn't know anybody to pursue his dream to dance. So he, in this video, will talk about that sacrifice and what it was like.
I sacrificed living with my family and getting my friends to pursue my dreams and pursue a career in ballet. So we have prestigious ballet school. I learned a lot from it by living with different host families and meeting people from all around the world that were also there to study a different club. I think that you should always pursue your dreams, no matter what that entails, because if you don't, then you're going to regret it at some point later in your life.
Do you regret your decision?
Not at all.
So the next story is my brother's. We couldn't really get him on video because he lives down in DC, but he wrote it, so I'm going to read it for you guys. As a kid, I always knew what I wanted to do. My father had instilled in me a desire to be a public servant. Being a state trooper himself, this wasn't that difficult. He was a sincere man who ran his household like you would expect a cop would. My proudest moment in high school must have been the group Club Action ran by Mr. Lillis. It was a story for students getting a $300,000+ solar panel array, which now is purchased atop the high school. That group gave me confidence, but there was that nagging desire to wear our nation's uniform that I still had yet to achieve. It took a long time to get that paperwork needed to get into the ROTC program. There seemed to be something valiant about joining the Army while attending school. I was instructed to join the National Guard at the same time. Knowing little, I agreed. I now had 2 or 3 weekends a month where I was in training. This seemed exciting to me at first, but later became more of a begrudging obligation. Don't get me wrong, I would do it again if I had the opportunity, but there are too many examples of times I was unable to enjoy normal college experience. For example, I should have been an incoming freshman with extra credits. Instead, the Army asked me to complete my 4 years in 3 if I was to get the money I asked for. Almost every weekend, when most people spent their time with girlfriends after a busy week, I'm forced to leave for multiple days, unable to even text because of the work I'm doing. The worst is when my fraternity is putting on a party and I have to go away on an ROTC weekend. Then ROTC throws a party when I'm away at guard training. But parties and get-togethers isn't the only thing that is surrendered to the government. My grades are far less than I could normally achieve to do the physical fitness requirement that wakes me up every day at 5:30 in the morning to work out. It makes me tired all day for classes, and my internship at the White House requires a certain level of attentiveness. The requirements don't end at the close of the semester. Over the summer, I had to spend months at the Army's Leaders Development and Assessment Corps at Fort Lewis in Washington State. This prevented me from getting any jobs to make money over the summer because it was smack dab in the middle of the summer and employers don't want to lose a temporary employee for a whole month. Besides all that, I'm very proud of the way I am. I'm 60 days away from becoming a graduate of American University and an Army officer. There are 2 goals I had in my entire life. Now I'm looking towards a career. I would be an officer in the National Guard for 8 years to pay back to the country that they gave me. What they gave me. I'm grateful for everything that is given to me, and paying back my scholarship in military service is like a kid being punished for having to go to Toys R Us. Service is more of a privilege for me than an obligation. This privilege I hope to continue. I would like to work for a Metro Police Department or FBI. Before that, though, I have to go away for 5 months of training in Fort Lee, Virginia. So my brother, he always kind of knew he wanted to be in the Army ever since he was little, which is kind of rare that he actually followed through with it. And we're all really proud of him. Like, he followed through. He applied to one college, got in, and barely made it to the Army program, but he made it in, had to do 3 years instead of 4 to get the scholarship that they promised him. And he has to do a lot of work weekends, early mornings. It's really rough on him, but he's always kind of pulled through on that. And my whole family's very proud of him. And he knows he's given up a lot, but he's following his dream. Even though he sacrificed a lot for it, he really thinks that it's made up for what he thinks is best. The next one is a priest. He's a priest at my church, and everyone kind of knows that priests do honestly sacrifice a lot, but we decided to get like the inside story to really know how he personally feels about what he did. So in case you couldn't hear that, the volume's up, so we're trying. But he knows that like society doesn't really look at priests in a normal light per se, and like he said, he would have loved to have a wife, a child, but he got the call to God, and he decided to go. And he said that even if he was like reborn again, he would probably end up in the same job because he loves it, and honestly, he feels it's what he was meant to do in his life. So even though he gave up a lot, he's from Africa. His entire family's over there. So he gave up a lot. He lives in America. He misses them, obviously, but he knows he's doing what he thinks is the right thing, which is to preach and live his life.
So this is a story from my cousin. He lives in Texas, so he wrote the story for me. It's about the decision he's going to make whether or not to keep his daughter. 5 years ago, at age 19, I found myself sitting in an adoption agency with my girlfriend, who was 5 months pregnant. We both thought adoption was the way to go. At the time, we had no other choice. We thought we were too young and thought our parents would be disappointed with us. We didn't have enough money and we weren't established enough to raise a child. Also, having a child so young, I couldn't go to the college I wanted to because it was out of town. Either way, I looked at the situation. There were sacrifices that were going to transpire, but in the end, we decided to keep our baby girl. I sacrificed not having an out-of-town college university experience, the ability to go anywhere at any time, and losing a piece of my youth. We made this sacrifice because we had the support of our families. We knew that it would be a lot of hard work, but it would be worth it. This was the best decision of my life. I learned to adapt with new and difficult circumstances as they came. I also learned a lot about myself and my determination to give my child the best life possible. I do not regret this decision at all. Sacrifice is subjective. Variables are different for anyone in this situation. Adoption is an excellent option for some people. There are a lot of people in this world who can't have a child and can give your child a good life if you can. My message would be to think about your future and what's best for your child's future. Either way, it's going to be a difficult decision to bless life. So my cousin was 19, and like you said, his girlfriend unexpectedly got pregnant. But she's now 5 years old, and he couldn't be happier. Even though he couldn't go away to college, he was able to stay in San Antonio. He's now working for PM Group, for the graphic designing company, and he's doing really well. He also believes that this was meant to happen. In high school, he kind of got in with the wrong crowd and got into drugs and whatnot, and when he had his child, he couldn't be doing any of that, so it really made something click and it said, this needs to stop. So he couldn't be happier, even though he couldn't go away and he had to grow up quickly. It was the best decision he could have made at that time.
So the 4 stories that we shared were very personal, but we also found stories from the time today and history, because we know that a lot of famous figures also made great sacrifices. This is Victoria Soto. She was 27 years old in the Sandy Hook Elementary School, the shooting, and she put herself between the shooter and her students, and this cost her her life, and she became very prominent because of this, because she was so young and she sacrificed her young life for her students. A lot of her students.
This is Lee Geis. She was one of the people that helped protect Anne Frank's family during World War I. She hid the family for 2 years, and after the war was over, she got Anne Frank's diary and gave it to her father. She passed away January 2009. But we thought this sacrifice was important because she was putting her life in jeopardy for the lives of the family. She did because she thought that it was the right thing to do.
Okay, so from this project, we all learned different things, but we put it all together and we kind of came up with the same conclusion that all these stories are different and all the sacrifices are different, but they're all the same. They all affect other people, and they're all done for the same reason, selfish acts.
To others, the sacrifices may not seem significant, but each person made a sacrifice because they felt that it was right. When doing this project, we learned what it truly means, what sacrifice truly means, and it's what you give up for another person, for what to better the world and to learn something.
Small sacrifices add up, and the big ones can define our lives and who we can become. It's difficult to put into words why people make the sacrifices they do, but it's part of what makes us human.
We don't realize it, but we make sacrifices on a daily basis. It can be as small as giving a sibling the last cookie, or as big as whether or not to give up a child for adoption. But either way, they have effects on our lives, and